Hello, Master. Hello, Balaji sir.
Hi, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
This
sir.
is
Hello.
Suresh here from Beth Universe.
Yes, sir, please.
So I'm going to host the session. Can you make me co-host? Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir. It is
Maharaj.
already done, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very
Well,
much. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. This is Suresh here, and welcome everyone to the My Time session for today's meditation session. And we are truly honored to have one of our finest speaker. And before I introduce, this is Suresh. As I mentioned, we're part of the Breath Universe, and we're conducting this event as a IFSS event. So what can I talk about today's our special guest? She is actually a doctor by profession, doctor in homeopathy and surgery, and she's a certified clinical hypnotherapist as well. And on top of that, she is a certified sound therapist, and she is a big ambassador of um, based on nutrition and naturopathy, as well as whole food plant based nutrition. And she's a certified yoga teacher, and also to add to that, she's specialized in lifestyle disease reversal expert, and specializing in mainly psychotherapy, sound therapy, and hypnotherapy as well. And she's a winner of the Wow Women's Excellence Award for Doctor of Disease Reversal Excellence. And there are a lot of testimonies, and we are so fortunate to have her in our weekly sessions. We're so fortunate to have her and host her and guide her through guide us through the process. She's none other than Dr. Rashmi Menon. Ma'am, over to you, ma'am. Looking forward.
Thank you so much, Sureshi. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our session so early on a Sunday morning. So I think Suresh will be talking a little bit more about my time. That would help. Can you please unmute yourself? Yeah, so according to the schedule, I will be taking a meditation today that will be a 30-minute long meditation so that we can ground ourselves before we go to the talk. So today's meditation is called reflection. This meditation will help us to cultivate a mental detachment, and it will also train our mind to become an observer of our own thinking without getting involved in all the dramas. So to do the meditation, I would invite all of you to be in a place which is comfortable. And if possible, sit on the floor with your back rested and your head rested as well. If that is not possible, sit on a chair which has a firm back and on which your feet can be grounded. If you're sitting back on your chair and your feet is not grounded, place a pillow below your feet so that your feet are comfortable. We'll be sitting in this position for 30 minutes, so it's important that you are comfortable. Once you have assumed this position, ensure that your feet are a little bit away from each other. Your hands are uncrossed. Lengthen your spine. Imagine that the top of your head is being pulled up very gently. Take 3 deep, long breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Then come back to your natural, regular breathing. And allow your eyes to gently close. For any of you who find it difficult to close your eyes, You can keep gazing at a point in front of you without engaging on that point. Relaxing into the rhythm of your natural, regular breathing. We will now start to mentally, passively review the events of the previous day in as much detail as possible and in a chronological order, starting from the moment we woke up. Do not judge or analyze any thought or event. Simply look back at the day that was as a mere chronological listing of events. Do not engage in the emotion. Simply look, observe. Do not go back and check if you missed anything. Simply let go and move on to the next event. The mind has a tendency to engage. Simply drop, move on. If you have finished with one round, you can start from the morning all over again. Go in a chronological order. Simply observing without engaging. If it becomes difficult to let go, bring your attention on your breath. And once you're settled, go back to the reflection. If you have finished one round, start from the morning all over again. Not engage with the events. Simply observe. Wherever you have reached in your reflection, stop the process and pay attention to these words of wisdom. When we look deeply at the nature of things, we see that, in fact, everything is impermanent. Nothing exists as a permanent entity. everything changes. It is said that we cannot enter the same river twice. If we look for a single permanent entity in a river, we will not find it. The same is true of our physical body. There is no absolute permanent entity to be found in the element we call the body. In our ignorance, we believe that there is a permanent entity, and our pain and suffering manifest on the basis of that ignorance. If we touch deeply the impermanent nature of our body, we can get out of that suffering. These are the words of Thich Nhat Hanh. For a few minutes, ponder upon these words. When nothing is permanent, why do I get attached to all of this pain, to all of these emotions, whether it is sadness, happiness, anger, even peace? Pondering upon this, gently become aware of the surroundings that you are in. Become aware of the weight of your body on the floor or on the chair that you're sitting in. With your eyes closed, make gentle movements of your neck. Make gentle movements of your hands and of your feet. Bring your palms together. Rub them, make them gently warm. Feel the movement. Make a cup of your palms. Place your palms over your eyes. Feel the warmth of your palm on your face, on your forehead, on the area around your eyes. Blink a few times into the cup of your palms. Open your eyes and gaze towards your palm. And gently, keeping your gaze downwards, gently release your hands and open your eyes whenever you feel ready and comfortable. Good morning once again. If you feel any tightness or rigidity in your body, simply walk around a little bit, maybe drink a glass of water to settle all those energies back in. This is a beautiful exercise. It's a very powerful memory technique, which you can practice daily just before bedtime. And this can help you to remember more about what happened. Usually, we tag our memories using the emotions. The stronger the emotions, the stronger the memory. And in this process, some of the events that happened, which we did not connect with very emotionally, we might tend to forget it. Doing this reflection practice helps us to detach heavily from the emotions while keeping the events as it is. Hope you will practice it and benefit from this. Now, let me get back to the topic of the day. So I'll be sharing my presentation here. You can just give me a moment. Okay. So today's topic is simplifying food. I work with lifestyle diseases, including diabetes, blood pressure, even cancer, autoimmune diseases. And one of the primary focuses is how you nourish yourself. This is the core of changing your physical body, right? Now, we have just finished a meditation and we are feeling refreshed about our meditation. We are even talking about the impermanence of the body. Then why do we need to focus on food? Well, the reason is that although we know that we are more than the body and that the body is impermanent, and as we age, changes keep happening as the milestones happen, but we are still traveling or experiencing this life in this body. Therefore, it is important that we take care of this body. If the body or this vehicle is not working well, then our journey becomes hindered. There are more obstacles in our journey, right? And what is the thing that fuels this vehicle? It is the food that we eat. And food can become a profound doorway into our spiritual growth. However, if we look at how we look at food today, or at anything in life for that matter, we tend to get engaged in a lot of complex things. For example, in the food world, we tend to think of, okay, I think I got it wrong, just a minute. So when we look at food, we generally get confused with a lot of stuff. There's so much things happening. We know about proteins, carbs, we know about eating lunch, breakfast, dinner. And then we talk about superfoods. Then we have our teas and coffees, which we have been taking since ages. And then we talk about losing weight, calorie deficiency, keto diets, and we also have whole foods. We also have nature identical foods. We have, if you look at the biscuit that you eat with your tea in the morning and you were to read the labels, you would see so many things there written, things that we don't really identify as food, but every single day we have been eating them. We have been feeding our body with them. And then we talk about collagens, we talk about multivitamins, and after a certain age, we are supposed to have collagen, we are supposed to have multivitamin, we are supposed to have protein powder, and all that stuff. So that, and most of the times we have spent so much of time understanding this that we forget the simplicity of life. We forget the simplicity of things that is. However, our mind likes to engage in this complexity. And that's where complexity bias comes in. Complexity bias is when we pay more importance to things that are complex and are difficult to understand, and which engage intellect, and we feel that anything which is complex and difficult is better for us. So this is the bias which tends to take us away from the simplicity and tends to get us engaged into things that have no reason to get engaged. We as intellectual humans are always in our head and not very grounded. While most of the animals that share the planet with us, they are very grounded. That's why most of the lifestyle diseases that we face, we don't see it in animals living their natural, regular life. Of course, the animals that we feed and we pass on our stress to, that is our pet animals, they can still suffer from lifestyle diseases. So complexity may be impressive, but simplicity is the real genius. So look, talking about simplicity, let's ponder for a minute about how the ecosystem works. In the ecosystem, everything has a place. Everything has a role to play. And everything is equal. Nature, Mother Nature created every being equal, including the plants, the trees, the water, the valleys. Every single thing was equally created, equally important, played a role, and shared by everyone. We live in an ecology where we are sharing things with each other. However, because of our intellectual pursuit of the complexity bias, we have created an ecosystem in which we have placed our needs, the human needs, on top of this ecosystem, and we are on top. This has created a huge impact. Now, if you look around us, there is so much of signs of climate change happening. And the way human beings are relating to each other, even that is changing. Because if we suppress or we dominate other creatures, beyond a point, of course, sometimes in survival, we do need to take dominance. But beyond the role of survival, if we keep dominating for our greed and not for our needs, the same domination starts passing on to our fellow beings. If you look at how the women and children are being oppressed, even in today's day and age, this is all a reflection of that which we have been doing since ages. So this is where the complexity bias has created a major role. And that's the reason why we need to come back to the simplicity. So if we were to ponder about what is real human food? Usually when I ask my patients, what did you have for your lunch or breakfast before you came to my clinic? Usually they start with something like roti sabji, dal chawal, and idli dosa, whatever, you know. But when I ask them, how did you know you're supposed to eat this food? The general idea is that, okay, this has this much carbs, this has this much proteins. For some people, it will be like, that's what we have been eating. My mother has been cooking the same thing. And it's been in our family since generations. For some, it would be like, okay, this doctor told me that this is what I need to eat, and this has this many grams of protein and carbs. For some, it's like, okay, I've been put on a special diet, and this is what the dietitian gave me. So everything about what we understand about food is coming from our intellect, coming from something outside of ourselves. If we look at nature, everything in nature created by Mother Nature has a place, like I said. So if Mother Nature created something, she also created its food. And she also gave tools to this created organism to procure its food. And when the creation comes near, the organism comes near its food, it knows that this is its food. It doesn't need to go to a doctor or a dietitian or look at the history or to learn cooking recipes to understand that this is its food. Instinctually, they know this is its food. So how come that human beings are so confused about food? How come human beings are also the people, also the species that are suffering from food-related ailments or lifestyle-related ailments? So let's do a small experiment, just a minute-long experiment. I would again want all of you to reconnect with your natural instincts. So just for a minute, close your eyes and imagine that you are very hungry and you are in abundant nature, the way Mother Nature created, not the way humans have altered nature. And you're very hungry. And you have only the tools that Mother Nature gave you. The tools that Mother Nature gave you are your hands, your feet, your sense of hearing, your sense of vision, your sense of smell, and of course, your sense of taste. And you're very hungry, and there are these trees with fruits. Suppose there's a mango tree, and there is a fruit which is ripened. Would you be able to smell the fruit? Would you be able to identify this as food? Would your mouth water if you're really hungry? Second, would you be able to procure it with your nature-given tools, with your hands, with your feet? Yes, right? You'll be able to stretch out and pluck it, or you'll be able to gather the ripe one which has fallen on the ground. The third test is, would you be able to bite into it? Now you see some vegetables growing around. Again, would you be able to identify it as food in its natural form? Would you be able to procure it? Would you be able to bite into it? And then you notice some leaves around, some shrubs around. You look at the leaves. Notice these three things again. Do you identify it as food from your senses? Does your mouth water? Are you able to procure it? Are you able to bite into it? And then you see some grass growing with some seeds on it. Basically, these are your greens. Greens grow on grass. The seeds of grass is called grains, some of them, which we have cultivated. So when you see the grass growing, these grains growing in its natural form, ask yourself these three questions again. Does your mouth water by smelling the greens in its natural form? Are you able to procure the greens in its natural form? Are you able to chew into it? And then you notice a chicken nicely plucking away at the worms in the ground. And you observe it. Again, the three questions come in from the smell of this hen, this cock. Does your mouth water? Do you identify it as food? Are you able to procure it? Are you able to bite into it in its natural form without any tools? And then you notice a cow and a calf in its natural habitat, not tied out, because nature never intended any being to be tied and to be imprisoned, leading their natural, normal life in peace with its environment. And the calf is suckling at its mother's udders. You look at this scene, and what is the emotion that comes up? What is the thought that comes up? Does your instinct identify this as your food? Are you able to procure this food, this milk that the calf is suckling at? Now imagine that you are a dog and you enter the same scenario. You as a dog, would you be attracted to the fruits, the vegetables? or to the chicken, or to the milk from the cow's udders. Just noticing this now, gently come back to your normal, regular human existence. And once again, settling down into the surroundings, gently open your eyes. What does your natural instinct tell you? We all have our natural instincts. So we all know what is right for us. That which we cannot procure, the grains, doesn't make our mouth water. We do not identify it as food. However, it is procurable. However, in small quantities, it is edible. There is no doubt that fruits are edible. They are our natural food. The vegetables, yes, not so much as fruits, but yes, they are. We can identify it as food. We can procure it. We can also chew into it. Even the leaves, for example, when the leaves, for example, neem leaves, we will smell the neem leaves and we will know this is not edible. However, a carrot or watery leaves, we would identify it from the smell that, oh, it is edible, we can eat it, right? So there's no questions that fruits, vegetables, and leaves are our food. Grains, we can still chew a little bit, procure a little bit, but not to the amount that we are currently eating. However, when we saw the chicken, did our mouth water from its natural smells? No, right? And it is so difficult to procure it without it being imprisoned or in the cages that we are accustomed to seeing them. In its natural form, they are much faster than us. And even if we do somehow procure it, we are not able to bite into it with our nature-given tools. However, the dog can easily procure it and bite into it, and not only eat its flesh, which we humans eat, but also the skin and some of the feathers, the beaks, the claws, everything they eat. That is wholesome food for them. Right. Now, when we saw the calf, the major emotion that we feel is that of, how cute. It's not how yummy, it's how cute that comes up. And when we remember, oh, this is the milk from which our ice creams come, from which our tea is made. And if we try to remove the calf from the others, the mother, who's like almost 800 kgs, will give us one nice kick. And that will be the end of us. Right? We don't have the ability to procure that milk. We don't identify it as food, we cannot procure it. Anything that we cannot procure, if we procure it and use man-made tools to alter it and push it into our bodies, our internal tools, that is our digestive tract, the enzymes, the hormones that are in our body, are not ready for it. And that's where we start going wrong over time. And that's where we need tools that are internal tools. Those are the medicines, because of the harm that is created by the unnatural food that we start consuming. So, most of us do know that non-vegetarian food or meat are unhealthy. Even your doctors will tell you not to stop eating food if you have heart disease. Meat if you have heart disease. However, this is the data wherein while a meat eater has 50% risk of heart disease, a vegetarian only gets a 5% discount, while a vegan or a plant-based person has only 4% risk of heart disease. So this is the huge difference, because milk is liquid meat. It has got casein, it has got kisomorphin, hormones, antibiotic, pus cells. A recent study has, not very recent, almost 10 years old study, has shown that children who have been fed cow's milk before the age of 2 are at higher risk for developing type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is when the pancreas itself has destroyed and it is very difficult to reverse the disease. Type 2 diabetes can be reversed with a diligent lifestyle modification, but type 1 cannot be reversed. And we put our children at high risk for it when we give them cow's milk before the age of 2. This is the real color of a factory cow's milk, because it's got pus, it's got the udders of the cow are infected from constant manipulation, and the machines just suck in all of it. However, this is not the color of the milk that comes into our house, because it is pasteurized, and not only that, it is also bleached. And this is what we consume with our morning tea or morning glass of milk. These are all the diseases which come up when we constantly drink a lot of milk. Remember, our body is very resilient. It is always trying to protect us. So in small quantities, our bodies can just throw out a lot of stuff. But we have made this a habit wherein in the earlier days, it was just 1 or 2 cups of tea and coffee in which the milk would be going in. Nowadays, every single thing, even a packet of sour cream Lay's has milk solids added into it. Now add into it all the other stuff that is not food, the food-like ingredients we are eating on a daily basis. Even the bag of muesli or the cornflakes that we give our children early in the morning has got so many ingredients which are not food. And then we add the milk as well. How much can the body take? So then, if we are not supposed to eat meat, if we are not supposed to eat milk, and we are supposed to eat plant-based, what do we eat? Fruits and vegetables, definitely. Vegetables and herbs and seeds and nuts. And these are all the food that are possible without having eggs, without having meat, without having fish, without having dairy. I think most of us, especially from the Indian subcontinent, is aware of all of these foods. And we do have it around us on a daily basis. Right? All of this. However, the question is, are all of these healthy? If you see the way the things went, the first was simple. And then we started complicating. And the more the complications, the more unhealthy it started becoming. And we all know it, right? We call them junk food. So what do we eat? This is a good chart to note. The smaller the steps from its origin to your plate, the healthier it is for you. On the left is your hide and seek Parle-G biscuit, which doesn't have dairy products, by the way. However, look at the steps that it goes through before it reaches your plate. And before it reaches your plate, it stays on the shelf for days. The longer the shelf life of the food that you eat, the shorter your lifespan becomes. However, on the right side is a fruit, which is plucked ripe in an organic farm and transported to your home, cut and eat. The smaller the step. If you have a fruit tree on your backyard, it is directly off the tree. You can stand there right and eat. That is the best. However, most of us cannot afford to do it. But at least we can look at the food that we are eating with some sense of where is it coming from. At least let's start by reading the labels and understand that are we eating food or are we eating chemicals? Second, look at the food and try to imagine it in its original form. How many steps has it taken? Is it closer towards the mango side or is it closer towards the biscuit side? Anywhere in between, even if we get like in between, even that would be a great help for our body. In spite of poisoning our body so much, it is still working, isn't it? What a miracle this vehicle is. So just imagine if we can help it a little bit, how much it can help us. When we eat whole foods, which are closer to nature, it really calms down our body. And when the body, especially your gut, is calm, your mind gets more space and it is less confused, and you can be more conscious in your present life. In fact, everyone says this and knows this, that the processed foods which have sugar and chemicals are low vibrational. And if it's a one ingredient food, for example, a mango or an apple, it is the highest vibration. The simple task to do it is in its original form. When it comes to animal products, if you were to leave an animal product on the table, and if you were to leave a mango or an apple on the table, or a tomato on the table for that example, so put a piece of chicken, a piece of paneer, a glass of milk, and a mango, and an apple, and a guava, or a tomato on your table, and leave it there for 24 hours. What is the thing that remains alive and is edible to you? Right? The animal products will all start rotting from the time it is removed from the animal, while the fruits and vegetables still retain life for a longer period of time. So these are higher vibrational, they still have life in it. And the more life your food has, the more it supports your body. The less the body has to struggle, and the more you can focus on your spiritual growth. So this is why it is important to pay attention on the food. You are what you eat, because your body is created from it. Not only that, if you're eating animal products, they have a lot of hormones. And especially if these animals are stressed animals who have been factory farmed, their stress hormones are all over the place, especially just before they die or before they are milked. These stress hormones are in all parts of their body inside their cells. And this is what we are ingesting in. Your body still tries to help you by neutralizing some of it in your stomach acids. However, not all of it is neutralized, especially given the amount that we are eating these days. Plus, your acidity goes through the roof because a lot of more acid is required to process these foods. By the way, this is also true for highly processed foods, for chemicals in your food. Your acidity in your stomach goes high when you eat less digestible food. Now the question is, okay, if I'm not going to eat milk, if I'm not going to eat meat or eggs or fish, where am I going to get my nutrients from? Milk especially is known for protein and calcium. However, did you know that a small teaspoon of sesame seeds has 10 times the calcium of a big glass of cow's milk? And a small teaspoon of khaskhas or poppy seeds has 20 times the calcium of a big glass of cow's milk. So we don't need to worry too much as long as we are eating a balanced diet. Now, this is another thing. A whole orange has 60 milligrams of calcium, making it one of the richest calcium foods, even above sesame seeds and poppy seeds. Right? So nature has given us all the nutrients that we need in the right quantity in the food that is meant for us. We don't need to steal other species' food at all. What about protein and amino acids? Where do I get my omegas if I'm not eating fish? This is another question that comes up. Basically, proteins are made from amino acids. And our body wants the amino acids, that too the essential amino acids, not the non-essential amino acids, because our body is perfectly capable of creating the non-essential amino acids. That's why they are called non-essential amino acids. So all fruits have the essential amino acids. Forget the dal and everything, it does have protein, but even the fruits have it. Apple contains 90% of all available amino acids. Isn't that interesting? So omega-3 and omega-6, again, we get all of it from flax seeds, walnuts, all kinds of oily seeds have both of these. The problem is when we extract the oil and refine it, it becomes heavy in omega-6. And then we end up having a deficiency of omega-3. So that is where whole food comes in place. If you're eating whole seeds, grinding them, putting them in your sabjis, even coconut, that gives you the right balance. But if you're going to use a lot of coconut oil, a lot of flaxseed oil, a lot of olive oil, especially refined ones, you're not going to get the right balance. Even all of these have omega-3 and 6. A papaya has omega-3 and 6. A mango has it. Oranges have it. So we really don't need to worry as long as we are eating well and we are eating close to nature and eating clean. The problem is when we don't eat clean. That's when our gut loses the ability to absorb the nutrients which are already there in the food. Vitamin D and B12 is another question that comes up, especially among plant-based people. However, let me tell you that this deficiency is a part of lifestyle. You will find this deficiency in everyone who is living in the city, no matter what their diet is. The reason for it is that the D doesn't come from your food, it comes from sunlight. And we don't have so much exposure to sunlight. Even when we do have exposure, we lather a lot of sunscreen, which stops the skin from getting in connect with the sunlight and producing the vitamin D. The D is produced in the skin and then it is stored in the liver. And it is very important hormone for your calcium absorption and also for your pancreas and endocrine glands. So sun exposure is very important. However, given that we live in substandard conditions, it's important that we check these levels in our annual testing. And if it is low, we might need to supplement it if you're not getting enough sunlight. The second one is B12. Again, this doesn't come from your food. It comes from bacteria. It can be in your gut bacteria. It can be in the bacteria from fermented food. It can be from the soil. The problem is that B12 is a water-soluble vitamin, and when we wash a lot, when we use a lot of chemicals in our disinfectants, in fact, they can all kill the B12. Plus, antibiotics kill the B12 a lot. So these are the two things that we have to be careful about, whether if we are living in a modern lifestyle, whether we are vegetarian, whether we are plant-based, whether we are non-vegetarian, these two just keep aware of it and try to balance it out. Of course, this is a short session, so I will not be able to go into much detail about it. However, if we are to simplify our food or our nourishment, these are a small few steps. Maybe you can take a screenshot of this. Choose human food. Human food means plant-based food. Remember the exercise about connecting with your instinct? The things that you were able to identify with your instincts as food, focus on that more. So choose human food. And the lesser the steps to the plate from its origin, the better your health. The third point is focus on non-fragmented or wholesome. As wholesome as you can. For example, if you're eating an apple and if it is organic, do not remove the peel. If you're not eating organic, there may be wax on top, you will have to remove the peel. Otherwise, you do not remove the peel, eat it as wholesome as possible. Focus more on seeds from which the oils are removed rather than the oil itself. When you're eating grains, eat more whole grains and millets rather than polished grains. Similarly, lentils, eat more of whole lentils with the skin if possible, rather than the polished millets. Eat it as close to its natural form as possible. So the natural form is raw food. So have a lot of fruits, have a lot of salads before your meals. The next step is cooking it. And in the cooking process, steaming is better than boiling, but boiling is better than frying. Baking is better than microwaving. So check how you're cooking your food and choose the lesser destructive option as close to natural form as possible. And whenever possible, eat organic, which are less pesticides, less fertilizers, less hormone triggering chemicals in your body. And this is another main point. Do not eat just because it is lunchtime or dinner time. If you're not hungry, do not eat. If you look at nature, all animals, when they are suffering from diseases, they tend to fast, right? And that's naturally coming to them. It's not forced upon them. This is very important for us too. When we are sick and we have a fever and we are not hungry, maybe the body doesn't want food inside. It is another task for it while it is struggling or while it is fighting the infection. So don't force feed yourself if you're not hungry. Work according to hunger. Some days you might have worked a lot, you might have gone to the gym and done a lot of walking around, and you might want more than 2 meals or 3 meals a day. And that is fine too, because your body is telling you you're hungry. So check with your hunger. The true hunger is when you have a cucumber in front of you and you can easily eat it. But if your hunger is for a vada pav or for that gulab jamun, it's not true hunger. It is a craving. So identify hunger versus cravings. And eat only when you're hungry. So this is ideally what a plate should look like. The maximum part of it should have a salad. And then the second preference is given to vegetables, which are cooked with zero oil or less oil. And then whole dals without oil or with less oil. And if at all there is space left, then have a grain in the form of one grain, either roti or chawal. Don't mix rice and other grains. Multi-grains is not a good idea for a healthy gut. So these are some testimonials of my patients. So this is the end of my presentation. Sureshji, we can go on to the questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. What a wonderful session, straight from the meditation, and so grateful for you to share the information about what we eat is what we think and become. So insightful. So keeping the time in mind, feel free to ask any question, and would like to, or anyone would like to share anything from the beautiful meditation session and the steps which ma'am has conducted. If anyone would like to share, please unmute yourself.
I guess that's so much of information. It will take
Yes.
some time to settle down.
Yes, ma'am. I think even when you're sharing as part of, we are in the journey of no meat and strictly vegetarian diet. So vegan is a one more aspect of it. And we know that this is question from my side is like, we know that all this when you eat fruits, how will you ensure eat as much organic as possible is the last point which you mentioned. But how can we ensure, because the way even the producing the fruits and vegetables here it's all changed and lot of chemicals around the way growing. How can we minimize? Is there anything tips you can share? Yeah, buying organic is one aspect, but any other aspect where we can balance that and make it a body towards more alkaline in nature, like anything you'd like to share?
The thing is that first of all, I put the organic at the lower part of the steps because of this. Because even if you're eating your regular dal, rice and stuff, if it is non-organic, the cooking or the boiling is not going to change the chemicals. It doesn't take care of the chemicals. It is right there in the cells of your food. However, when you're eating raw food, you're eating salads, at least there is some life in it, right? Nutritionally, it is still better than a milk product or highly processed plant-based product. So that way, comparatively, it will still give you benefits. And the thing is, we always think about adding. What we need to do is subtract, right? So when you're eating, when you're talking about alkaline food, we do have a lot of people who say that, okay, put some lemon water, it will alkalize your food. We don't need to add. We need to subtract. Subtract the processed food, subtract the animal products. Naturally, your diet becomes more alkaline. You want to make it more alkaline, subtracting the dals, acidic nature dal, even the grains, heavy to digest stuff. The more you go towards the first step, that is eating fruits, the more alkaline your body becomes. And yes, your body will not become overly alkaline, because that is also not right for the body. Your body knows where the limit is, as long as you're feeding it real food, human food.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. That's insightful. Yeah, Hari, I think there are two. Hari, you raise a hand. There is one more question from Balaji. Go ahead, Hari.
Hello, hi Rashmi. This is Hari. I have contacted you for this session. So thanks so much for accepting our invite and then doing this wonderful session. I would say need of the hour. Like, people have learned learning about so many things in spirituality, but food is one of the major aspect of spirituality and human survival as well.
Yes.
So thanks so much for sharing your knowledge and your expertise with the food. So one practical question, like, for myself as well, it's a journey to be a vegan, or I would say probably almost vegan, to be really genuine. So being vegetarian for so many years, but almost vegan for years, with some of the exceptions that we have. So what I would say, as a common man, I have a lot of friends who are in this path. It's very tough for them. So yes, we are preaching so much about this change of food habits and everything, but to think from their shoes, right? So the baby steps that they need to take are extremely important. So thinking from their shoes, rather than saying that you are doing wrong, you just come this path bluntly. What sort of mindset that they need to first get into to be able to start this journey? Like what aspect which you think they should start as?
Yeah. So the first of the thing is that, first off, I would like to say that let's not focus on vegan, because vegan is a big thing. Because vegan is not just about your food; it's about a lifestyle shift, and that can get very difficult for somebody who's just starting. So let's just focus on plant-based. And if you look at the food that you're already eating, there will be 80% of your food is anyways plant-based, right? So look at what you have in your hand already, what you have in your plate already. And like I said before, it's about subtraction, not addition. So there's no need to go hunting for replacements for these stuff. Just look at what you're eating already. So for example, if you're eating an Indian thali, or in that, mostly the sweet will have non-vegetarian, plant-based, milk-based stuff, and the curd will have milk-based stuff. So all you need to do is subtract those two things. You still have a healthy thali with a lot of vegetables, maybe a salad in the form of a koshambir or something. No, so there it is. You already have your plant-based food. So it's all about raising the awareness and looking at what you're already eating, which already contains plant, and just increase that. So naturally, the others can be subtracted out. So the simplest thing is look at where you are already, and you'll already find that you're eating plant-based. The only problem is that you're eating also the stuff that are irritating you, your gut, irritating your system. So subtract that. That's it. I guess that's a better way to adopt it, Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That's a great answer, actually. To become aware of what we are eating first will bring us there. So that's a great suggestion. So once again, thank you so much for accepting. So we'll have much more.
Thank you for coordinating. Without you, I wouldn't have been here.
Thanks. We look forward for much more deeper sessions as we go on this platform and bigger platforms. So looking for long-term collaboration. So thank you so much. Appreciate Rashmi. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think we have two more questions. One from Balaji. Let us know how about multivitamins, how to balance vitamin requirements on daily basis.
Yeah. So basically, when you eat whole food, most of the vitamins you get from there itself. However, when you're beginning this journey, it's good to have, they say that eat a rainbow. Eat multiple colored fruits and vegetables in your daily stuff. So try to aim for getting at least 3 to 4 colors in your food. For example, banana is white color, orange is orange color, watermelon is red color. Similarly, brinjal is purple in color. So just try to include more colors and variety in your food from the plant-based stuff that you have already in front of you. Now, the magic is that when you start subtracting stuff, your gut starts getting healthy. Right now, because of all the processing that we are having, our gut is hurt. Our gut doesn't have the capacity to absorb a lot of things. That is the reason why we need to start by eating a rainbow. And then slowly, when we start eating a rainbow, slowly when we start increasing the raw food in our diet in the form of eating some fruits in the morning, eating a bit of salad before your lunch, a bit of salad before your dinner, your gut starts healing. And then when you start eating only the seasonal fruits, only the seasonal vegetables, you get all the nutrients that you need in the right amount from there itself. The problem is that, again, we are working a lot from the intellect point, because of which we tend to look at food from the nutrients that we have been able to identify yet. But the food that we eat, that nature has built, has so many more nutrients which people are still discovering. So maybe a few generations back, we were only talking about protein, carbs, and fat. Now, during the next generation, they started talking about vitamins, the next generation about minerals. And now we are at a generation where we are talking about anti-aging ingredients like collagen and peptides and all that stuff, So how do we know? So then every time a new ingredient is brought in, we are changing our nutritional value table again, right? But this is not really sustainable, and it can cause long-term harm. Instead, we have to think of nature and the wisdom that nature has. So when we eat wholesome, we are getting all the nutrients in the right amount that we have not even yet discovered. So that is why the focus on eating wholesome. When we eat wholesome, we will get all the nutrients that we need in the right amount. So then we don't have to think too much. We don't have to spend a lot of time on that. In fact, I have been eating only raw food since 2016. And I can do all kinds of exercise even when I'm hitting the half century, So this is the amount of energy and the strength that you get. So I'm during my, right now I'm in my menopausal period, and people talk about a lot of deficiency, a lot of mind fog and whatnot that happens during this period. Hot flashes, I hardly have any, because the nutrition that I'm getting is the optimum nutrition. I believe that has a big role to play in this, So the more we have to believe that Mother Nature is here to support us. Right now, what we are doing is we are doing many things which we are trying to go against nature. Even the intellect, the science, we are supposed to understand nature through science, not fight her. So let's use our knowledge, our intellect, to be with nature rather than against her. And then she will support us. All the food that we get from nature is going to help us. So initially, we have to start by eating a rainbow. And then slowly progress with your instinct will tell you how to eat. And then you will find the right people. We are in the age of social media where you can find the people that you want. You can go the wrong path, but you can also walk the right path. So once you step on this of eating clean and eating a rainbow, you'll naturally be inclined to research more on this, find communities and people who are following this path and will support you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Great info. One question is, I think this is a generic question around we say that we need to have at least protein of whatever your weight is 1 to 1.2. Generally, that's or 0.8. Some people say point. What are into that much grams of protein per day, right?
Yeah.
So this is a common question we get even like a vegetarian, like how you balance protein, right? And iron. So adding to this is iron, where in Western countries, they tend to put on more on red meat and all the stuff. So how do you make sure that your daily protein or iron is met? Is it just from vegetable sources? Or because in order to eat that much grams, how much quantity of thing is required? So that is a common question. How we can address that?
This is the reason why I talk about food is not about changing. It's about changing your mindset. We have to go from the intellect to the instinctual. It is the intellect which is telling us that this gram of protein is required. It is all about information from outside. It's not from instinctual, from inside. There are people
been brainwashed.
It is a brainwashing. It is a whole thing, and it's not done purposely. Nobody's trying to manipulate it, because the people who are propagating it, are also believing it. See, this is all coming from a fear of survival, a fear of nature itself. So yes, we needed to have that fear when we were there, when we were struggling with other species. Today, we are in a space where we are the dominant species. We are the predators. Yes. Nobody is our predator. No. So now we have to let go of this fear of survival, and then we can safely rest in our instinct. We have this opportunity today. So we need to take use of that opportunity, right? So since the last 9 days for Navratri, a group of us, I have been only on watermelon. And a group of us have chosen one monofruit, and we were doing monofruit. And I was on watermelon, which people would consider doesn't have any protein, is all filled with carbs, right? But I did not lose any muscle mass. I was doing my regular exercising. I had gone for all the garbas, dandias, everything. So it is a myth. Like I said in my presentation, what we need is the amino acids. That to the essential amino acids. The amino acids are the building bonds. Anything that you eat has protein in it because it is built by amino acids. You will have protein deficiency if you have not eaten anything for 5 days long. That is called Kwashiorkor syndrome. That is the true protein deficiency. Everything else is either an absorption deficiency or an overprotein. When you eat something what is called as complete protein, the complete protein is complete for the animal from which it is taken. Our composition is different. So when we eat a complete protein, our body has to go through the process of removing the essential amino acids from the non-essential, throwing out the non-essential, absorbing only the essentials. This creates acidity and conflict inside. This is one of the reasons why we have cancer a lot. So don't go from the mind, go from the instinct. My advice to everyone who has this question is 1 month. Try this for 1 month and check how you feel. And not huge changes. Just whatever you're doing currently, continue that, only subtract the animal products. And check with yourself, how are you feeling in your body, in your mind, when you're sitting for meditation, how is your focus? These 3 things, check with yourself. You are your best experiment. Try it for 1 month and you'll get your answers. Yeah.
No, that's a good tip, man. I'm like to take out the thing and try it out for a week or month. That's a fantastic tip. Yeah. Adding to that, we're running short of time. Just I'll take 2 more questions. Is one mentioned about so in today's world, like I know Mother Nature gives what based on season, it gives the fruit, and you need to consume seasonal fruit. There's a standard my grandmother taught and everyone taught. But in today's world, you get, let's say, strawberry. It's not just summer. We get all year round. And we get, it might be coming from a different country, or we may get it in a frozen. Even the frozen has organic frozen. So what do you say around that vegetables or fruits which are frozen, mainly fruits, vegetable to a certain extent, if you are living in outside country, how do you, any suggestions on that?
So let's go from where we are currently, okay? So we are not only eating frozen fruits and vegetables, we are also eating preservative-laden biscuits and cakes and frozen meat stuffs and everything, right? So compared to a frozen strawberry and all of the shelf biscuit or preservative-laden biscuit or a meat product, the frozen strawberry still has life in it, right? Now, once we have come here, then we walk the next step. The next step is, okay, where has the strawberry come from? Where has it come from? Is it come from a land close by? Then it has more life for me. If it has come from a far off land, the traveling distance, they have put something into it, right? So that is the next step. So the first step is, where are we? Take the first step first. Because what happens is, when we talk about this, people go directly to the last step and start asking themselves, how do we do that? Okay, I'm not supposed to eat food which is cooked in the morning. I'm supposed to eat only fresh food immediately after half an hour. But I have to go to office. I will have to carry it. How do I do it?
That's a common question, ma'am.
Do it. So I can't do it. But instead of that, I will eat a biscuit. It doesn't make sense.
Good one.
Yeah, start where you are at. Take the first step. Then you look at the next step. As you start walking, the steps will start revealing itself.
Yes, our instincts will guide us there.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Thank you. And one more question. I think Leela, I think maybe, yeah, Leela, please go ahead, Leela.
Hi, Rashmi ma'am.
Hi.
Thank you so much. A wonderful topic. I really like it. My question is, I'm a vegetarian, not a vegan. I would like to understand like why we are not recommending for the cow milk. At the moment I can understand because of the population, the way they're extracting is really brutal.
Hmm.
But in case if you are getting a fresh milk from
Hmm.
villages or Krishna Valley where they're not, the way they're
Hmm.
extracting is not a harmful way.
Hmm.
In that way, like why are you not recommending even if you're getting it? Because from childhood I have been drinking. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So again, like I said, we are going by our intellect again. Some childhood my mother has been giving me, so I'm drinking. So were you there for the natural instinct visualization?
No, I just joined a bit late.
Yeah, so you had incomplete knowledge then, right? So when you were, if you were hungry and you're in nature where the calf and the mother is walking around in nature, not imprisoned, she is not afraid of humans, she's living her natural life, the way the nature intended. Even when you're tying a cow to your pole in your house and treating her supposedly like a child, it is still imprisonment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if she's in her nature nicely walking around and the calf is suckling at her others, would you feel your mouth water?
No.
No, right?
No.
You will
No.
feel, wow, how cute.
Obviously,
That is
yes.
your instinct. Your instinct is not making your mouth water. Your instinct is not identifying it as food. But your mind, your intellect, which is my grandmother used to drink cow's milk and I have drank till now, then you go and try to remove the calf from the others. What would the cow do?
Kick me.
And she's a
It is.
800 kg cow. One kick and you'll be dead.
Yes.
Can you procure that milk?
No.
You don't identify it as food. You don't procure it. You cannot procure it. How can your intestines digest it?
Mm.
And your body is continuously trying to protect you. So in small quantities, it is able to throw it out without manifesting big diseases. That doesn't mean that it is right for the body. Right now, the body and the mind are under warfare from the way we are living our life. Like Gabor Mate says, we are living in a myth of normal. So everywhere there is struggle. And then when we give food that is not natural to us, how much is the capacity of the body to throw it out? When you have your child on week 1 and week 2, there's huge changes happening in the child, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
By the end of the month, the child has totally changed from the day he or she was born. This is the change. This is the amount of growth hormone that is there in your breast milk to feed that child. The amount of calories that is there to feed that child. We are talking about the calf, which is when it is born, is 18 kg. Within 18 months, it is going to grow into a 200 to 800 kg adult animal. The amount of growth hormone in that cow's milk, the amount of fat in that cow's milk, the amount of cholesterol in that cow's milk is much higher.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah.
And that we are drinking. And as adults, when we drink it, where does it grow?
Fat, yes. Got
Fat
it.
and tumors. Fat is still fine. Tumors. That's why dairy is the number 1 cause of hormone-related cancers. Breast cancer, prostate cancer, cervical cancer. Sorry, ovarian cancer.
Understood. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks, Suresh.
Thank you, Leela. Great question. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for any other question. I think we are done with the questions, ma'am. But it was really fantastic. It's very short time to dissect or get your knowledge, what you have, and the information, what you're carrying. So we would looking forward to host in a different form in a multiple session, and really insightful. Thank you so much from bottom of our hearts to get your time and sharing your wisdom to us.
Thank you so much. Yes, lovely to be here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So there is, I think, There is
More
one
questions
question.
coming in.
Last question. I think this is related to the gut bacteria, which I am actually I don't drink milk, so I'm also into this gut bacteria concept. So someone asking about B12 produced by gut bacteria is not usually available for absorption, and primary source is dietary. Yeah. So that's the answer. I think you mentioned gut bacteria, more fermented food,
Yes.
those kind of stuff.
Yes,
will
I had
improve our
spoken
gut
about
bacteria.
it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you all, and looking forward for another session next week. Okay. Thank you.